Excellent, that's always a positive feature, isn't it? There we are. There we are, there we are, there we are. Let's see if we can find ourselves on our phone. It's always slightly more difficult. There we are. Excellent. Cool. There we are. Excellent. That's always a positive. Good. So we now know we can see and hear each other. So I'm aware that there is at least one more live going out at 11 this morning, but that is just a live. Right, let's just take that lot off there. Pop that lot all on the floor. Oops, there's something else heavy in there that I didn't need. Let's just get that over there. I know last year a good few people joined me, but yeah, it's not a guarantee, is it, on Christmas morning there'll be people wanting to watch, and that's just also just fine. I know a few people messaged to say that weren't going to be able to. Good morning, Crafty Jacks. So at least that means I'm not on my own. That's always positive. We're still in mission use it up mode, because why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be? Let's see if we can find a brush that's not going to have too many problems this morning. There we are. We don't need massively big. There we are. That will work. That will work. Merry Christmas, my darling. Merry Christmas. So we're working on an embroidery hoop. We're using some alchemy of art papers. The reality of life is that you can chop out lots of images out of lots of papers, and this is about collaging imagery. So really it doesn't matter. At the bottom of that is going to be. Now unusually I am not painting the base of this wooden stick, and that means that the metallic paint will not be as dense, and that's the whole purpose for today. We've got no resins to do. Well, I'm glad you're having a good morning, my darling. As I say, I have no idea who will, who won't feel up to joining us, but it's not going to be complicated live. We're on Mission Use Up, and we're going to be on Mission Use Up tomorrow, but with some different ideas, different techniques, so that hopefully will, well, it'll help me use up products and hopefully keep a few people company and provide them with some entertainment when they think that later on, when they think that, good morning, Margaret, that the television choices are maybe not what they want to be watching. Oh, there, I do. That's not a very good quality hoop, is it? But hey ho, it won't matter by the time we've finished. Merry Christmas to you, my darling. I trust that you are well. There we are. So we'll just get this layer down. As I say, I'm not going to get the same vibrancy of metallic colour that I would if I was using a black undercoat under this, but that's okay, because I think it works a more natural feel for the project that we have in mind. It won't stay on that metal very well because it's again not primed, and that's okay. Not mithered about that. Do want to get into that bit. There we are. The rest won't matter. There we are. It's nice to see that we've got a little bit of company. It's always difficult, isn't it? set it. You know, I suspect a lot of people might be in kitchens prepping for food, etc. They might have done it last night. My daughter and her boyfriend are set to join us at some point today. Well, hopefully around lunchtime. She's pre-prepared a French onion soup, which will be scrummy, I am sure. Right, there we are. Let's just lid that. That will work. Oh dear. And then clean the little mucky nuts. The mucky nuts need a good clean. Oh, there we are. And then not sit on it. There we are. So, I haven't even got a heater on here today because it's so flipping warm. Let's just pop that down there for the moment. We can retrieve it when we want. We are really in mission use up mode. So this is a giant chipboard wreath that comes from Mintay, which the lovely Sarah Wright stocks, as does she the Alchemy of Art papers. It might be a few years old, but hey ho, we are definitely on mission use it up. Right, this might make a mess, but hey ho, and we're going to do some stuff that you really don't see me doing very often. So this is just embossing ink. We might need a few layers of this, but that's okay. Yeah, so you don't very often see me getting out embossing powder, but or embossing ink. Just it will sink in to the chipboard, but you can do this with any size chipboard. So you just need but they can, you know, chipboards can be quite thin, can't they? So sometimes it's just a good idea, I think, to have something to thicken them up. Hello Samantha, welcome my darling. I haven't seen you watching me before. My lives are always in English. They're typically on a Tuesday for a company called Penshot, and on a Sunday on my own page, and possibly one more day on a page called Crafting Together with All Brands, which, as the name suggests, is isn't brand related. My own page, I do whatever I feel like at the time. There we are. Now I almost certainly will need to go back over that. I know I will, so I'm not minded from this point of view. There we are, because I know that I'm going to need to go back over it. And actually, let's just fold that, because it's going to make life a bit easier over all. Okay. There we are. So I have some shabby ivory embossing powder. That's stuck reasonably well. We definitely will need to build the layers up, but that's okay. So that's shabby ivory, so it's a softer than white with some gold bits in it. There we are. And then we have shabby green. Now these, I've had these in my crafty stash a good wee while. And they're quite subtle, but I actually really like these. So, and then we will repeat the process and build up the layers, because I know that that's what we're going to need. We've got a little bit of sparkle, a little subtlety of ooh. Let's not put it in the ivory pot, because that wouldn't definitely not work. There we are. So a little bit of shimmer in that one. And that's actually where the green is in the shimmer. So let's just give this a little bit of a blast. And as I say, I know that I'm going to need to build these layers up. And this will probably be the longest bit of the ride altogether. So let's just let that warm up a little bit. I don't know whether it really alters how much things walk, but hey ho. Good morning, Dawn. How are you, my darling? I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and obviously Leela as well. Are you on your own this morning, my darling? I'm on Mission Use Up, so really am on Mission Use Up at the moment. So I've got all sorts of products here. I think the Stampendous is stitched by Oakwood. I like these shabby colours. The embossing inks for Tim Holtz Distress embossing inks, but any embossing ink will work. You could, and then I've got some pretty papers for there into a frame. Yeah. But I know I'm going to need to add several layers of embossing powder to get a good coverage. Even coverage doesn't really matter, actually, to be fair, because it's a shabby effect, but a little bit of subtle shimmer. It probably won't come over on so well on the live, because it never does. But there we are. I find that usually I need about 3 layers, but actually it builds more easily the more layers you have. There you go. You could use an ultra thick embossing enamel, but you're still, you know, it will build a layer that's thicker, but you still need 2 or 3 layers, I find, to get an even coverage, even with that. So that, from that point of view. And I think ultra thick embossing enamel might be quite difficult to find, though I think Simon Hurley has recently brought out a range. So if you got them when they were on the telly box a wee while ago, this might well be a way of using them. Though his colours were bright neons, so not my colour range. So I would encourage you to get out what you have, to use what you have, and to enjoy making what you know with what you have. Obviously buy new if you need it, support local companies wherever possible, rather than the big conglomerates, because the bigger the company, the more money they're likely to take from the suppliers. And if you can support local companies, then we'll have lots of choice and variety through the year, and hopefully get a bit more as people drift away from the joys or not joys of silly-telly, which, like everything else, has its place. But maybe not for everyone. Good morning, Deborah, welcome. So we're going to need to build up our layers here. So let's start in an area that might have cooled down. As I say, I knew that I was going to need it. And these embossing pads are now quite old, but it will start sinking into the base less as we go round. So we've got an area that, for whatever reasons, perhaps I didn't actually put anything on it. That wouldn't surprise me. So let's just grab our bases, shuffle that onto there. Oh dear. Well, that wasn't quite necessarily what we wanted to do at that point, but hey ho. There we are. Let's just pop a little bit of that up there. Put a little bit of that onto there. Let's just knock that off. and we'll pop that into there. So that was the shabby green, which I promptly put over this an area that was shabby white, hence the oh dear. But I'm not overly mithered, so let's just, there we are, we'll mix it all up. We'll get a nice mixture overall, so that's okay. There we are. Might look like I'm being overly extravagant with that, but most of it's going to go back into the pot if I tuck it back onto there. And we'll just build up our layers. There we are. We will lid those so that we don't end up covering them too much, because otherwise we'll have an almighty mess. There we are. So, if Dawn is still here, are you still on your own today, or have you got some company? You know, previously you've had some time with Dr. Moore, but she'll be in her chateau, won't she, this year? I'm fairly sure that's better. We're now beginning to get a little bit of coverage, and that's partly because we're on the second layer, but it's also because the chipboard is heating up, so that will help. We will need a third layer, that's for guarantee, yeah, for certain. There's some areas that I have missed, and that's also all okay. Here we are. So we've got 7 people watching this morning. Sarah Marchant, I know, is away at her mum's. Sophie will be at her mum's. Well, Lily Lou will be giving you lots of sloppy kisses, and will be needing her walk, won't she, my darling? I'm just too far away from you to be company, apart from online, which is why I felt I should do the live. My son Azzy is every Christmas morning, and has been from his first Christmas, is still fast asleep in bed. He's never ever got up early. He sits on the spectrum, and he doesn't get it. So that's fine, you know, it's just life, isn't it? So I've never had the joys of being woken at 3 o'clock. And my daughter will join us for lunch, and she's already pre-prepared that. She's coming with her boyfriend, because her mum, or future mother-in-law, boyfriend's mother, whatever, will be sorting her breakfast out this morning, so she won't be watching, and then she will be going off to her son's, or one of her son's house, who happens to have a grandchild. So that's far more appealing, isn't it? I'm very much aware this can be quite a difficult time of year. So we're going to have a mixed up results with this, and that's just fine. Subtle colours to add the layer, and I know it's a bit rinse and repeat, but there's no way around it. We'll just have to go with it. You could just as easily do this technique with any of the Stamperia chipboards. That will work quite well. So just to change the colours, and I have to say I often use them in their neutral state, but they don't have to be used neutral. You do need to be slightly careful how much wet medium you're adding to chipboards. They're like a compressed cardboard fibre, and if you add too much wet product with them, they definitely go very, very soggy. So ink, yes. Paint with caution. Embossing, absolutely works really, really well. And at the same time makes them a little bit more robust, which is also quite useful. Right, goody goody, let's just grab let's not grab that. Let's just cover this up again. Oh, she says, knocking a pot of embossing powder over, that she hasn't managed to bother to put that in. For those of you that follow the lovely Liz, I have seen evidence this morning that her craft table has now got a tablecloth on it. It was covered in presents that she'd got this morning, so that's all good and dusty, isn't it? There we are. Right, let's just see if we've got, catch the areas that really haven't got very much on it, and then we'll have a dust down, because we have bits everywhere. There we are. So let's hope that some of that green will sit on there. We've got a bit of green over there. We've got a bit of green over there and a bit of green there. That will work. Hey. Right. Kiki. Let's lid that before we get everything over. Good morning, Debbie. Merry Christmas, my darling. There we are. Right. Because we really don't need to have any more on there, do we? So it looks like you're being extravagant, doesn't it, when you're doing this, but the reality of life is you're really not. I think in an ideal world you'd probably need 2 pieces of paper for patching, because I am going to have, undoubtedly, can I see the lid for that? There we are. Some bits of sparkly green in there that I might not want. Well, sometimes you just have to, enjoy the peace and the quiet. You can do your own thing in your own time. I'm very surprised that my daughter is appearing. She's definitely not generally a Christmas fan. That having said, she has definitely been better this year. Right, let's get rid of some of that lot. Mop with the fingers, and let's see if that third layer, which is as many as I thought we were going to need, was really going to do enough. I'm going to part my bottom down. So I'm getting used to crafting sitting down now, which is also quite a nice activity. So feel free to share the live wherever you want to share it to. Share the love. Wish everyone a happy Christmas, because it's that time of the year. And to be fair, it's the only time when I'm likely to do a live at 11 o'clock in the morning, partly because I have lots of US followers who join me, and for the west coast of the US it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, so that's really not very sociable for them. Now we have some options for tomorrow. I have got an error with this there, but we're not going to be too picky about it. We have some options for tomorrow. I can go live. Oh dear, who was that thingy me? Thank you, Debbie. There's no need to send stars, my darling. I'm in a very fortunate position of not needing income. But it's appreciated. Always it is. If I get donated, if I ever get to a reasonable amount, to the local Ronald McDonald House, because they're always needing money to support families who have children in hospital. So that's beginning to look very good. I'm going to have to do a little bit of a tidy up. Good morning, Trees. Welcome. So Trees is on East Coast, probably. So 6 o'clock in the morning, possibly. Am I right, Trees? It's always difficult following the different amounts of times that we have and the time zones. I've got one area that that's going to irritate me if I don't add a little bit more embossing powder to, because it's currently got none on, so that's not good, is it? There we are. There we are. And there really isn't a very, any way that you can short circuit this, I'm afraid. Oh, never mind, darling, never mind. I trust that you will get some sleep tonight. Has Father Christmas visited, and has anyone had anything nice? My lot are useless. My son bought a household present. Well, and even that I went in there. I found, because I was just in the right place, so I've got a really lovely set of wooden chopping boards for the kitchen. For my Christmas present for the family, for my son. My daughter, I'm sure will bring hers down. My husband, where is my husband? And he's useless, mother, in the nicest possible way. And he really doesn't go out and about very much, so and certainly doesn't go out and about on his own. So I don't think he's got anything, and he doesn't really do internet shopping either. So that's altogether not good. Right, let me retrieve those bits, because I'm going to have to stand up for this bit, so I can see that I've got a little bit there that needs a bit more. We've got a bit there, because if we're going to do it again, we might as well make sure we've got it all the areas that we want to be covered, because why not? There we are. Right, so let's just add some of that one there. Is that one there? That one there. Was that the one I wanted? No. Does it matter? No. There we are. Because that was not the right. But okay. As I say, we're not stressing today. Well, do I ever stress about lives? No, not anymore. I've done them long enough and often enough. As long as I have a vague plan, and in my head I can see where I'm going, that's all I need. Well, that's that one top now covered. Let's just cover that little bit. There we are. My heat gun is nice and warm, so it's not going to take very long to add this. So if you wanted this to be thicker, you could carry on adding layers, or as I say, you could just as easily use an ultra thick embossing enamel. That will work quite well too. There we are. So there we are. So if I lift that up to the camera, I can see I've got a soft, subtle shimmer with a green, slightly pale, icy green colour. And I've got this ivory with bits of gold. So icy and gold, very suitable for Christmas. Well, I hope that will work well for you. I think you did that last year, didn't you, when you decorated the church and spent Christmas there, or the village hall. I think it's a lovely thing to be able to do. I know that for lots of people, Christmas alone at home isn't much fun. Right, let's just give that a little bit of a blast and then pick up where we're going with the rest of it. Hey, all right. Let's just shove all of that lot, all of this lot, onto there for the time being, and pop it on the floor, because then we can pick it up. So I have a piece of paper that we're going to pop approximately into there. Now then, if I'm intelligent and bring that over, excellent, I will be able to fussy cut that image if I want to. Though, as I say, I am on mission use up, so there we are. We'll have a little chop of that whilst that dries. So we won't use a bit of best embroidery scissors. There we are. Doesn't matter if I cut just inside the line, because it's going to be underneath the ring. So it's just an embroidery ring that I've painted with Pentart Ivy Green metallic paint, and I didn't undercoat with black because I wanted it to be slightly less dark and a little bit more transparent. It's quite often with metallic paints, you definitely, a black undersurface will give you the colour intensity in one go, as it did yesterday for me when I did the live for there we are. And I have chopped out all of the other images. So these are Alchemy of Art papers. On a mission to use up, because why not? Right, there we are. Let's just add some express glue. Well, give your mum, Therese, an extra special hug. I know it's difficult as we get older parents. Who we've got my brothers. My husband is one of 9 children, and his only remaining sibling, it has vascular dementia and is in a nursing home. She was moved from a care home recently to a full-on nursing home because her needs couldn't be met in the care home. So there we are. So I get that it's not easy. We've had all sorts of bugs in the house, so we haven't visited because we clearly don't want to take bugs to an environment where we've got vulnerable people. So let's just hope that that is vaguely straight in there. Give that a little squash. Good morning. Good morning, Liz. I've told everyone, I've seen evidence that you're so we're going to need a little bit of a tidy up there. And do I know what I've done with my craft knife? Do I heck? Do I heck? because normally I'd let this dry and then go around it with a craft knife, but I've no idea where it is, which is not very helpful. It'll be somewhere in the mess on my table. That will do, that will do. There we are. So that now looks pretty. And the back sort of pretty. It's a bit on the wonk, so I clearly haven't got it completely straight. But hey ho, it will do for now. Right. Now I'm deliberately going to pop this on now, then make myself work difficult. There we are. There we are. And I ummed and ahed about the placement of this, and then decided that I'd have the baubles sitting straight. There we are. So I've got my chipboard wreath sitting here. It will catch on the areas it's going to catch on, and that's just fine. And because I've got glue lurking, let's just add God dear, oh dear. Patience is not my virtue this morning, clearly. There we are. Little bit of sparkle. A little bit. There we are. Right. Just bear with whilst I pop that over there. Collect that up and stick it back. We're going to have sparkle everywhere, but hey ho, that's just also just fine. There we are. I'll shovel that off the end of the desk into there. Pop it back in there. Stick that into there. Was it worth trying to save it? Oh, we're on mission use up, so it won't matter, will it? Right. Lots of fussy cut elements. Let's just take that, some of that over there, pop that over there, reposition that back where I want it, give it another squash in a minute, and let it actually have some time to dry before we do much else with it. There we are. Excellent. Might give that a little bit of a blast to get it to glue down, because we've shuffled it out the way. There we are. Just need that to grab. There we are. And if push comes to shove, we'll get some hot glue out at some point, but I haven't put that on. So those of you that have watched me use Alchemy of Art papers in the past, you'll know that they come with a fussy pat pat, and this is my starting point. Okay, and then everything else is going to be tucked under, over and over, and we might just need to do a little bit of inking, because I don't like white cut edges, and it will help pull it all together. There we are. Okay, so let's just pop that onto there. because that's where I want that to go. Now then, we've got lots of other bits, so I'm starting with my bigger elements. I've got a Santa as a focal and a family as a focal, so we're just going to build our background. There we are. We can tuck stuff up and under. That's the joy. And there we are, we've got a little log cabin. So these have all come from one of the Fussy Cut packs, and this is just going to get rid of the white edges, and we're going to build bit by bit. There we are, we'll cover that. Okay, so then we're going to have to do just a little bit of thinking at this point. So we'll stop just sticking, and we're going to start just doing a little bit of placing. So I know where these focal images are going to go. There we are. And then I can start building some of this up. So there is our family. Okay. So they can go straight onto there. Because that's where I want that. But he needs to be lifted up. The centre of that piece of chipboard that I used there was quite a lot of waste. I'm going to need another piece. Anyway. So let's just chop some of these out. So this is literally just scrap chipboard pieces. There we are. So that can go there. And then that's too wide. So when I'm working like this is what I do. I put my base pieces in, work out there, then put my focal elements where I think I want them. There we are. So that's now lifted up another layer. We'll just give that a few seconds to grab. There we are. And then we can put our jolly Father Christmas into there. And I'm going to just give him a little bit of a rounding, because Father Christmases are not flat, are they? They're very definitely not flat. There we are. So let's just give this a goodly squidge of that. And Father Christmas can go there. So he's got a little bit of dimension. Okay. So the eagle eyes of you will have seen that I have a whole mountain more bits and pieces, and at the moment for me that is definitely looking way too empty. So let us just add some extra bits. So that can sit underneath there. I don't want it completely flat, tucked underneath there. So a little squidge of that, squidge of that. Pop that there. That can come out of there. And I think we're just going to chop that in half. Give that a little bit of a curl. Slide that under there. There we are. Where's the other half of that? There we are, and we're going to do the same on the other side for that one. Because why not? Why not? Why not? Okay, okay. And that's why I don't always put glue up to the edge of things. We'll tackle that half an edge in a minute because I didn't think that one through very clearly, but that's okay. Okie dokie, okie dokie. So, what have we got lurking? We've got, oh, well, maybe we won't use that one then. Maybe having taken the end off it. Let's just add that little candy cane sweet. That will tackle the bit that we've missed there. There we are. No one will ever know there was only half a tree. Right, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, we have one bell. I know there is a bigger bell. Let's see if we can find the bigger bell. Excellent. And I could be getting out ribbon, but actually we're not going to. So I'm going to pop that up there. We'll give it a little bit of a shape, because that will help hold that in place. And we've got a second, a littler bell, if littler is such a word. There we are. Which we're going to tuck underneath there and lift that up. Okay, okay. And we have a bow cut from the papers. There we are, just give it all a vintagey feel. There we are. And that can sit on there. There we are. So that just adds a little bit of interest into the top of there. Okie dokie. Maybe I was going to use the bigger one, but maybe I'm not going to use the bigger one because I've put that one on there. So we've got a bit of an empty area down here, and that's fine. So let's just add, we've got a little nutcracker. That we can tuck into there. I'm going to pop him fairly flat. Ooh, let's just get rid of that white edge because we've left a white edge. Don't like the white edge. There. We do have a whole mountain of poinsettia here. Let's just take them out of there and some extra bits and pieces. So let's go from where we are, because we're clearly not going to use that we've made a mess of, but let's just add that into there. You can see why I go through lots of the glue gel. There we are, and that can sit partly up. Do I want it up and over? I'm not sure I do. I'm going to pop it underneath. There we are. So that's going to sit there. Right. Well, we've got lots of pastels and lots of florals. And some extra bits and pieces. So, let us see what we want. Some of these might be too bigger than I want, but that's okay. Actually, I'm going to pop my parcels in first, and these are going to get layered up. So let's just give these all, it's not going to stay there, ladies. All of these parcels and bags can be given a little bit of height and dimension. Let's just grab them all. Have I got more parcels? Yes, we have got him up ourselves. There we are. Okay, so let's just do some building to cover some of this transition at the bottom that's really not brilliant at the moment. So let's just chop up bits of leftover chipboard, of which I've got mountains, and then we can build these up. So let's start with our biggest one. And there we are, and we can build up and chop. So that can go on there, and let's just add. We've got plenty of this, plenty of it. Because there was masses of spare in the wreath, and it's, you know, it's never waste, is it? It's never waste. It will replenish my supply. So there we are. We're going to tuck that into there and underneath there. So we've got, there we are, tuck that there, tuck that there. So we've got some parcels on there. We might need to tuck something underneath. There we are. Let's just pop a little bit there. Pop that there. Pop that there. Let's tuck that one under there. Just going to fill that gap a little bit. There we are. Make it look less floaty out, as if it's floating. There we are. And then we're going to need lots of layers for this piece. Let me just pop that into there. One. So there we are. 1, 2, 3. Let's go 4. We'll try 3, but I think we're going to need 4. So there we are. Now just remember that the more of an area you're covering when you're adding these, the more stable your piece will be. There we are. We're using the express glue because it will grab quite quickly. Now there's 2 layers for there. Actually, I'm not going to add the 4th there. I am literally just going to add that. There we are, because that will then stop my snowman, my nutcracker, from being floating. There we are. Covers that transition quite nicely. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome, my darling. Right, and so we just need to add some bits here. So we've got another Christmas present. So we've established that we need 3 layers for some of these, and that's okay. Cool. Okay, put the glue on the side that's been inked instead of the other side. We'll just correct that in a minute. Right, because you're a numbskull. There we are. Get rid of all of that. There we are, there we are, there we are. Give that time to catch. And let's just add a 3rd piece. There we are. Onto there. And that can go there. We're going to pop this on 1 layer underneath. Because then it'll look like Santa's dropped that behind the garden gate. That will work. There we are. Let's just cover that, cover that, cover that, cover that. Excellent. And we've conveniently then got plenty of places here that we can then pop that up on there if we want to. But actually I think I'm just going to pop it onto the front of that one to ground him. There we are. So that's sitting at Santa's feet. So Santa no longer looks like he's hanging in the breeze. Oh, I think that looks better. So we have, now I have a feeling that when I did this I took some of these pieces up and under here. There we are. So let's just do, because you have these in the garden, don't you? There we are. There we are, there we are. I don't want all of that poking out, but I do want a little bit, so we'll just give it a little haircut. It's going to add another bird into the mix. Tucked behind there will work. Okay, so let's see whether we do want any of these florals to build up or not. Yes, why not? And you can see I've given them all a little bit of a extra bit of dimension. Just scrunch them. There we are. And by the time these are tucked in and out, they will look pretty. There we are. Let's just give that one. I can pop underneath there. So this is definitely all about layering and adding just a little bit of extra detail into our pieces. Got a little bit of that. We might need just a little bit of, I think, of greenery tucked underneath. Maybe not, but let's just see. Might still need a bit of a haircut. Yep. Just needs a fraction of a haircut to tuck that into there. We've got the other end of that. So we'll pop that into there. And this, at this point, this is definitely just about playing and adding anything extra that you feel like adding. There isn't necessarily a right, there isn't necessarily a wrong. Remember, chopping up pieces is perfectly acceptable. Do I want to add it? I might not. I'm going to pop it up there. Just linking some of these pieces, and I'm going to, horror of horrors, leave a white space. Did you hear that correctly? they're just lovely, are these images. That, as I say, they're from Alchemy of Art and Adding the Brow, who do a lot of different images and some very pretty makes, but the pretty ones are definitely not my vibe. But these vintagey ones definitely are. So let's just see. Oh, okay. Well, that was helpful, wasn't it? There we are. We decided to knock the computer so I can't see what's going on. There we are. Do I want to add? I'm going to pop that under there, I think. Yes, because he looks like he's minus half a body at the moment, and just tucking that into there is going to ground it for me. Okay, so do I have lots of bits left? Yeah. Do we need to use them all? Absolutely not. Good. Let's just find the little bits, because I do have a plan for these pieces, and I know there's a few more of them, so let me just retrieve. That's another one. Don't want the flower, don't want that, 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 don't want that. See, I know what I don't want. Might use that. Do want that. Don't want that, don't want that. Hey, I think I might have found them all. Possibly, maybe. Aha! Right, excellent. Let's just popping that over onto the floor. There we are. We have a little bit of a gold this is just a dimensional piece. There we are. We could add dimension to the berries, but to be honest, life is too short. I think that's all of the poinsettia centres sorted. Right, and then the outside to me still looks like it's just been plonked onto there. So let us think. So we've got our Santa with our family, and then we just need some extra bits onto here to link this top piece. And the plan for me is just to add these little elements that came well, where did that, oh there that's where it went to. There might have been a few more pieces. There we are. Aha! Let's just add I do want that one there. I think there we are. Do I want to add anything else? Oh yes. You see, this is what happens, because at this point it is all about play. It really is all about play. So I'm just going to add that into there. Tuck it in. That will require a blob of you, won't it? There we are. Let's just tuck that into there. Let's get these on. get these in place. And then we might have just a little bit more of a fiddle over here, because why not? Why not? Again, to help the grounding process. Here we are. Yep. Let's take that other half of that. There we are. See, see if we can tuck in just a little bit of extra holly into there. We've got some more bits of holly, because you can't just have one, can you? Just take that there. So I'll tuck that into there. We are on mission use up, you know. We definitely are on mission use up. There we are. Let's just add a little bit into there. So at this point we can add some gold onto the hanging loop of that, and the hanging loop of that. We can add some little blobs onto the centres of our snowflakes, because that is going to link everything else together. There we are. There we are. We're just adding just a little bit of extra interest into some of these areas. There we are. Doesn't have to be much, but it will just all add a little bit in. There we are. Hopefully. There we are. So, that is our live for today, my darlings. I have a live planned tomorrow on the use up front still. So, let me know if you, before I sign off now, whether 11 o'clock is a good time for Boxing Day. I'm rather hoping it might be, because it works for me as much as it. Oh, there we are. We found another star. There we are. This is why you have a few seconds to think about. And could we add a sentiment in? Possibly, but for now, there we are. So, ladies, Thank you for joining me this morning. I trust that you are all well. Please stay safe with whatever you're doing, and hopefully I will see you on my live tomorrow at 11. Bye.